Hey fella, one moment of appreciation. I'm glad to see the channel growing. It's almost 100 subscribers left before the second grand, and I wanna thank you for that, my dear viewer. But with more and more people and such a variety of content, I started to think about something that will be common for other nerds, lovers of portable gaming, fans of seamless Wi-Fi connection, and Samsung. Yeah, actually, according to the number of views, people do prefer videos about Samsung smartphones than other brands, on this channel at least. So we've decided to play again with the lists. In this video we collected the best middle-class smartphones of recent times that still brings us mostly positive emotions and don't hit hard on your wallet. My name is Bogdan, welcome to TechFellas. At first, actually, what do you think, how hard the middle class should actually hit? I'll say it's a pretty tough question, because each of the brands on earth have different prices and understanding of budget and middle class phones. For instance, such devices from Samsung can reach 350 to 400 bucks, when Realme simply asks 50 greens more and gives you a semi-flagship. Just not to be that guy who compares prices of Xiaomi and Apple, I took the most tasty products from the most manufacturers without aiming at some price tags. Let's start with all these. The first one is the smartphone from Xiaomi. Obviously there will be more of their products here. Mi 9 Lite still remains our beloved product of the last year. It looks fancy, has got a glass body, metal frame, mini jack and NFC. In front you're welcomed by AMOLED and an in-screen fingerprint reader. As for the cameras, this is where it becomes clear why they call it a mid-class, but still the quality of photos is not crappy. Together with this you get 4K video shooting capability. Hardware in this device is not the fastest even in its class, but still pretty decent, cause we are talking about Qualcomm Snapdragon 710, not some MediaTek shame. I understand that in 2020 many think that this is an old smartphone and that it's better be looking at some fresh products. Trust me, to hell with this! I'm absolutely sober about suggesting Mi 9 Lite, as the device turned out to be fabulous in its price range. Moreover, that was one of a few Xiaomi smartphones of 2019-2020 that didn't give me a headache and was working perfectly. Another mature smartphone that came inside of my head was Xiaomi Mi 9T. Yes, this handsome is now difficult to find on store shelves, but this is still a very cheerful competitor that even surpasses Mi 9 Lite on hardware performance because of its Snapdragon 730 chip. Also there is NFC, firstly ever introduced in Xiaomi pop-up camera, and a large battery of 4000 mAh. The body itself is also made mostly of glass and has a very original set of colors. Long story short, these two are still relevant to buy if you find it for an adequate price. Now let's jump more into nowadays. Among the fresh and far from deep shit Xiaomi, I'd like to point out Redmi Note 9 Pro. Again, it's all about glass with a fast side-mounted fingerprint reader, headphone jack for your earphones that might cost even more than this phone, and a gigantic battery for 50-20 mAh. Its heart is Snapdragon 720G. There's NFC in the device, and I frankly could call it a smartphone of dreams, unless the firmware. By the time we had it, Note 9 Pro was working slower than other products with the same chipset. The only thing that saves the situation is in-time firmware updates. Of course, if Xiaomi plans to do such. A logical place in our list after Xiaomi belongs to their main competitor these days, Realme. We'd like to highlight two models here, Realme 6 and 6 Pro. Although the body of Realme 6 is made of plastic, it looks very beautiful with an awesome overflow. 6 Pro has got a different but not less fancy drawing and a glass back. Both smartphones, as for their price, take nice photos and videos and also have 90Hz IPS displays. There is a mini jack in both of them and the snappy fingerprint readers that live in the same place as in Redmi Note 9 Pro on the side of the body. The batteries in devices are for 4300 mAh each. Both have got a fast charging as well as NFC. The main difference between them is hardware. Realme 6 Pro has Snapdragon 720G and Realme 6 works on Helio G90T. Obviously, the elder model gives much better experience in games, but the younger one is also pretty much suitable for mobile gaming. We liked them and their cost, and most importantly, they have never driven us nuts during testing. Moving on to the neighbors from Korea, Samsung. For a pretty long time we played with almost the entire A series, but the only phone that makes me say not only you can take it, but rather you should take it is Galaxy A71. It turned out to be beautiful despite the plastic back. As for the screen, it is a 6.7-inch Full HD Super AMOLED. There are a lot of cameras, the main one is for 64 megapixels. NFC of course is in the place, and the battery is for 4500 mAh. Cause of Qualcomm Snapdragon 730, it is fast in daily tasks and gaming performance. Even the branded firmware shell makes everything possible to not turn the phone into POS in 5 minutes after unboxing. The last but not the least is the smartphone from Apple, more specifically the beloved iPhone XR. I do like the 11 model and didn't forget about the more affordable SE 2020, but as far as I understand, in the eyes of Apple, the second one is a budget one, and the first is still more expensive after all. In some aspects, iPhone 11 is much cooler than XR, at least if taking cameras into comparison, but XR still has got a couple of tricks up its sleeve. For instance, you can find the model that supports 2 physical SIM cards. Also, there are cool speakers capable of tearing apart a small room with high quality sound. From quite obvious feature, it is 4K video shooting with excellent stabilization and a husky battery life. A bit of retrospective. My coworker has been using this phone for almost 2 years and it still holds the charge boldly enough. Regarding performance, it is a fact that the power of A12 chipset is still enough for any tasks and will keep it up for a very long time, even from now. Overall, the smartphone is a big pleasure to use despite some bottlenecks like thick frame along the edges of the screen or its low resolution. HD Plus, to be frank, that is set against 6.1 inches. Still, no disappointment. One final and important thing, the main concept of such our videos is about us using the device firstly and then deciding whether we can recommend it or not. We might haven't tried all the smartphones in the world, but some people think about switching phones month by month. So any good thoughts will be useful. Leave your own wish list or just the list of your favorite mid-class smartphones that you would recommend in the comment section, as well as how much, in your opinion, the middle-class smartphone should cost despite the brand. And if you like this video, then why not to support our channel by subscribing to it, hitting the like button, ringing the bell to stay tuned for more cool content. My thanks for watching and cheers!